Hello, this is psychicpodcasts.com. I'm Psychic Sahar.
We're pleased to have with us today Stephanie Brookes, author of Some Silent Hero. Stephanie is currently the youngest author and publisher in the Body, Mind, Spirit, and is the marketing director and joint owner of Spiritual Philosophy Publishing Limited. Stephanie Brookes, welcome.
Hello, thanks very much for having me on.
Thank you very much for sending the review copy. I really very much enjoyed reading your novel, and I've literally finished it this morning.
Fantastic. Oh, I'm so pleased. Thank you very much for reading it. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. You have already received raving reviews about your book, and including that of William Roach, MBE, who's known as Coronation Street's Ken Barlow.
Yes.
And I quote, he mentioned, "It's wonderful to find in someone as young such a profound understanding of spiritual matters, and also who can write so well on the subject." This is your first published novel, and it is you have a trilogy planned, and in a way you started writing this novel at the age of 7.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I first saw Spirit at the age of 7, and it was something that has such a profound impact on me. And for a while, obviously at such a young age, I didn't know what it was, or it was completely out of my realm of experience. But as I got into my teens, I started to question more what was it that I saw. And in my early sort of 20s, really, I thought, I'm going to get down everything sort of that I've experienced or that maybe friends have and put it into a novel form so that anyone could read it and sort of get a little bit of an introduction to sort of mind, body and spirit matters in a really sort of gentle way.
Who are the silent heroes, Stephanie, and what prompted you to write this novel?
Absolutely. I decided to call the novel Some Silent Hero as I sort of wanted to sort of capture what it was about, the fact that I believe we all have a guardian angel, we have spirit guides helping us, and for the most part they are almost like sort of silent heroes. They're protecting us. We can sort of call upon them at any time. So I just wanted to sort of almost a little nod towards obviously those who do look after us.
Now, who is the book aimed at, and what do you feel it can offer its readers?
Yes, I actually wrote the book primarily for anyone who really wanted sort of first and foremost, hopefully an entertaining read, and then can get a little bit of the mind, body and spirit. Most of the readers have been sort of female. They've obviously enjoyed the heroine in the novel is obviously
yes,
female. And so obviously it sort of attracts that audience. But I really wrote it for anyone who wanted a bit of an insight into mind, body and spirit matters, and hopefully it can offer readers just a little bit of introduction to sort of spiritual matters, so that maybe they might sort of be interested enough to go off and read another book. Or,
that's right.
And so that it might sort of spark a new interest.
Now, you studied English and Creative Studies at Portsmouth University.
Yes.
You graduated in 2004, and by then you had completed the script of the first novel.
Yes.
Your bio on your website mentions that you had received interest from a small publisher,
yes,
but you wanted to have more control over the marketing of your book.
That's right.
Would you tell our listeners about the publishing company you run now?
Yes, of course. We run a company called Spiritual Philosophy Publishing, and it's aimed to help sort of first-time writers in the mind, body and spirit genre, because there's so much fantastic work out there that I think, especially when you're a first-time author, it's so difficult to get on sort of the publishing ladder, so to speak. A lot of publishing houses, it's always handy if you've had something published before, but if you're a first-time writer,
it's difficult to break into the market, so to speak.
Absolutely, and especially with sort of, I suppose, mind, body and spirit titles are still slightly sort of not as mainstream as maybe they will be one day. So we wanted to sort of run a small company that would help hopefully as many people as possible. We've recently sort of launched our third book, and hopefully we'll find a sort of a manuscript that we think, oh my gosh, we've got to do something with this.
So in a sense, writing your novel started you off also on your career path, because I think it's an inspiring story how you've just decided to start your own publishing company with your dad. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Even though it was so nice to have interest from a smaller publisher, we decided that my father's always wanted to run his own business, and I do enjoy doing the promotion for the book, and I love speaking to people about it. So we thought we'd sort of combine our sort of creative energies and see if we could do something. Obviously on a small scale at the moment, but hopefully it'll grow bigger and bigger.
Yes. Well, I wish you a lot of success with that.
Thank you very much.
Stephanie, do you think people are becoming more aware and more tolerant of spiritual matters?
Absolutely. It's so funny when I speak to people about what I do or what I've written. The first thing they say is, oh, I've got an aunt who's interested in that, or I have a friend who can see things, or I think I feel my grandmother with me. So it's something that people their ears instantly prick up, and they sort of more aware about it now. I think with all the shows on television as well, which is sort of bringing it into the mainstream. Yes. Obviously, a lot of the shows which have mediums on, people are starting to become a bit more aware, and I think people are just sort of fascinated by this area. I think we all want to question why we're here and what are we doing, and so I think when you begin to ask those questions, you sort of look towards perhaps mind, body and spirit books or tapes or videos, and so yes, I really do think it's becoming more and more sort of popular now. A lot more people are coming out about their sort of interest in it.
I feel they're not as embarrassed to kind of talk about it or to say I've had an unusual experience or I've seen a spirit, and I think you kind of explain that in the book in the way that the heroine Vivian or Viv started to kind of experience that sort of thing and to see spirit.
Absolutely. She wasn't sort of, she started to sort of speak about it more and more in the book, and in the second and third I'm going to really kind of, she's really going to be sort of going on a much sort of bigger journey and learning more about it, and I think you're absolutely right. People are much more willing to sort of come forward and say, oh, I think I've seen that, or I have an interest in that area, and would you tell me more about it? So I do think people are, really opening up about it.
Is it loosely based on your experience? I mean, you sound, or you feel to me to be a bit of a medium, are you?
Well, I've always I've had sort of experiences, and I have seen things as a child in my early 20s. So I wanted to sort of incorporate my own sort of experiences and also experiences of other people I've spoken to. So the story, there is certainly a little bit of myself in there, but I've sort of got my inspiration from so many people I've met and thought, oh, that will be a great character. I'll add a little bit of her and put a bit of him there. And
is there a specific, maybe spiritual experience that sticks in your mind? I mean, were you at all terrified or concerned when you first started seeing spirits?
Absolutely. I think the most vivid experience was when I was 7 years old and I saw spirit sort of by my bedroom door. Obviously, being a child, what I was seeing I didn't understand because it was just completely out of my realm of knowledge or experience. It was nothing I'd ever sort of seen before, and I knew that the people by my door weren't my family or friends. So it was quite terrifying at the time, but as I sort of got older, I started to question it and think, well, maybe if I see something, maybe other people do. And so that's what's always fascinating to me now, is speaking to other people about their experiences.
What's next for you, Stephanie?
Yes, at the moment I'm actually drafting out the second part of the trilogy, so spend most of my time in front of my computer screen at the moment. So I'm hoping to obviously to get the book out as soon as possible, and also to promote the books that we have on our list at the moment. Well,
your book is already available in bookshops and on Amazon.co.uk.
Right.
And for our listeners who want more information on your publishing company or your books, they can visit your website.
Absolutely. They absolutely feel free to go on the website and to always drop us an email if there's anything that you want to ask. So that would be fantastic.
Well, let's give them the website.
Of course. It's www.spiritualphilosophy.co.uk.
That's wonderful, and thank you very much for taking time out, Stephanie, to talk to us today.
Oh, thank you. It's been lovely to speak to you.
Thank you very much, and all the success with the rest of the trilogy.
Oh, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.